Alrighty, good morning. We are going to get started. This is our final video or final tutorial in our 12 Days of Tech series. This one was supposed to be at the beginning, but unfortunately, I was sick. So it got postponed until the end. So we're talking about market updates today, keeping your clients up to date on what's going on with the market. There are two options for that. So both of them are going to be in your ONESuite. So you're going to go to your One login, log in to ONESuite through that One login. And then this is our homepage of our ONESuite. So over here in the client reports, we click on that. It gives us our options. We've talked about our listing alerts, our property exposure reports. Today, we're going to dive into these two things here, our property detail reports and our market reports. Now, little side note before we get started, the next two options down here are your report cover images and your report settings. So the cover images, I'm going to be honest, they're lacking. I would go in there and update these. Okay, I think the market report is okay. It looks kind of cool, but these maybe make them more personal to you and your business. If you've got a banner here that matches your social media or your listing reports or whatnot, maybe it's got your photos on it, maybe it's got some listings or just local scenery. That's probably what I would go with. And then keep this one in mind too. If you're doing some headshots, maybe do something similar to this so that you can recreate this, but with you in it or your team. That would be my recommendation. But this is how you change those pictures is you just come in here, hit new, upload it, title it, call it a day. Okay. All right, so now let's go first to our market reports. So our market reports are going to be the most broad report. You can use this one of two ways. I would not personally use the market reports for my clients that I know their addresses. Okay. These market reports, I would say, is for somebody that I know, like they're looking to buy, right? So maybe our buyers, maybe once a month, they get a market report for the areas which they're looking to buy. Okay, so what we would do is we come up here to hit new. Okay, we're going to name this report. We're going to go market update for Fairfield. We're just going to go Vacaville and Dixon. Okay, right? So maybe we've got somebody looking in the Vacaville and Dixon area. I'm going to skip this contacts for a minute. I'm going to come down here to market areas and I'm going to click browse. It's got all of the zip codes that are in our market based on BARIES. Okay, so it's got all of those zip codes in here. So if we were looking for Vacaville, we're going to scroll along. You can also go to the search. We're getting closer. That would require me remembering what, let's see, 95688. It's all numerical. We're going to keep going. All right. Let's see here. We've got 95691. I went too far. We're going to go back one. Scroll down here. We've got 956, nope, 8385. All right. So I didn't go too far. 9567877. Oh, here we got to scroll up. 95687. 95. And notice here we've got condominiums, we got single family homes, or we just have general market. So I'm just going to click general market. 95688, 95687. And Dixon, I can't remember what their zip code is, so we're just going to eliminate them. All right, so I'm going to click those two. I'm going to click OK. So these are all by zip code. Okay, and like I said, you can label it down to like condos or single family homes. So we're going to go market update for Vacaville because I'm lazy. Display title, we might want it just to be the same thing. So we could call this like report name would be Vacaville. Display title might be market update for Vacaville, California. If you want to receive a copy of this every time it goes out, you click yes, and report enabled, you want that on yes. Okay, now what you want to do is we're going to browse for a contact. So I'm just going to click browse. I'm going to go over here to the search, and you can assign lots of contacts to this. So if you had your contacts tagged appropriately, like with Vacaville on there, it would make it really easy to come down here, hit browse, go, we want all of our Vacaville clients, click OK. I'm going to take that out of there, and then I'm going to hit search. I've only got one person tagged in Vacaville, but all of my Vacaville people would turn up. This is why it's so important to tag your people appropriately. We've talked about that in the database lessons. You can go back over and rewatch those trainings. But if you've got them tagged in the city or in the neighborhood, and I would probably say and in the neighborhood, you'll see how it makes this next report also fully functional. But this makes it right. We could tag them by zip code, and then we could search all of our clients in 95687, 95688, right? We could probably, I selected myself and hit OK, but let's come back up here. I'm going to hit browse. I'm going to go to the search bar here. You could search, right? So I could say, hey, everybody who's in 9568788. Sorry, I typed 88. You can hit count 0, 9, 5, 6, 8, 7. I don't know why it's not pulling anybody up. It should be pulling people up. All right, let's try this. Let's go Vacaville. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to hit reset, because I think I probably still have that group selected. So let's go reset and then go Vacaville. Still 0. I don't know why it's not pulling up by addresses. It should be, but that's all right. But you could search some different ways there. Okay, once we have our people selected, okay, we can hit save and send, right? So this is going to send this out to those people today. So this would be something that you'd want to put on your calendar to run. You should be able to set it to run every month. But anyways, there you go. Market update preview. Here's what that report looks like. Here's what is happening in your market. It's branded to you, and it's going to say, for those areas that were selected, it's going to give those updates. Properties for sale, right? Property types, average sales price, month supply of inventory, average sales price versus days on market, right? So it pulls a bunch of those different reports in, and then it's broken them down by zip code. Okay, so this is the only bummer about this is it's got like 95688 separated by 95687. So when I do these market reports, I would probably keep it to like one zone versus two. Okay, and at any time they can click view real-time report, it'll give them an update. Okay, so that is your market report. I'm going to click no there. Oops, sorry, I meant yes. I want out of there. Okay, here is that, right? And it'll show who you've got assigned to each report, when it was created, when the last time it was sent out. These go out, I believe, automatically every 30 days. I could be wrong on that, but it looks like that is the case. Okay, email created and sent. Although it doesn't give you a way to update that. But anyways, it should. All right. So that's your market report. So for general areas, we don't know where somebody lives, somebody's thinking about purchasing. This is a great report to get that monthly market update out to people in a generalized manner. Okay. So that was, again, our market reports. The other option that we excuse me, have is our property detail report. So let's zip over to there. This is what I would use for our people that we have an address for them. Okay, we would just come up here, click new, report name. We might call this North Vacaville. I'm going to call this Orchard Park area, Vacaville. Okay. Then we come in here to criteria. Okay. And we just come over here to the edit button. This is where we select which properties are going to turn up. Now, you can make this a generalized area search. Like we could search all of Vacaville for homes with a pool or something like that. I believe you can narrow it down that way. But what I like to do is I want to go 30 days back on my expired, my contingents, my canceled, my contingent show, my actives, my pendings, and my close. So I'm going to do 30 days back. Actually, on these active, I'm going to say I want anything that is currently active. Okay, if we put a date in here, it's just going to go new listings on market, not what's currently active. This is going to go contingent date for the contingent show. So you could leave, if you wanted all contingent properties to show up, you could delete that. You could do the same thing here. If you inputted something in, you can't figure out how to make it go away, then we just come up here and you just delete out of it. So, oops, hold on. We're going to go contingent. So that would be anything that's active, anything that's contingent show, contingent no show. And we may want to do the same thing for the pending as well over here on the right-hand side. So I took off pending. So anything that's pending or active is going to show up. And then anything expired that's temporarily off the market, that was canceled, or that has closed in the last 30 days, whether it's sold on MLS or off MLS, is going to show up on this search. Okay, then I'm going to come up here to the radius search. Okay, this is the other option that you have. Okay, you could plug in an address and just do a radius. But what I like to do is I like to come over here to this map search. So at the top, we've got search and map search. Here's where you could center the map on a specific address. Great idea if you have somebody's specific address. If we want to toggle the map, we can click and drag that map around. And then down here in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little directional thing that allows us to zoom in really easily. Let's see, I said I was going to do the Orchard Park area here in Vacaville. So there's our North Orchard Park. I'm going to click up here at the top of the map is the same buttons that we have like on BARIES, right? Where we can click to draw a polygon. So I'm just going to come in here, click this. Excuse me. I'm going to see if I've got enough listings. For this report to go out, you need to have at least 5 listings. There's just one there. I'm going to save this area, and I'm going to save this as Orchard Park. Vacaville. Okay, the reason that I'm going to do this is here in this drop down, you have saved areas where you can select specific areas, making it really easy to come back for future buyers or sellers, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and draw again, and I'm going to say, hey, this Gonzales, sorry, I said Gonzales, area here, leaving out kind of that Granada area. And we're going to come down, see if we can get, because these houses are similar to those other houses. That got us another listing, still not quite enough. So we're going to zoom in a little bit more and grab some more properties here. I may decide I want to come down here just a little ways, right? And I can save each of these areas so that I can strategically add them in the future. And let's see, we're going to go one more. We're going to go here. Uh-oh. All right. Right. So I could save each of these areas as a different area. All right. So then once we have our areas selected, it gives us here those statuses over here. So we've got our active, our contingent, our sold 30 days, our sold off MLS 30 days, our canceled. We're going to take our contingent show and take that out of there. Our hold expired. I'm going to do the same thing here with the pending. Just delete it out of there. And then I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now I've got those properties selected going back 30 days. Okay, then what we would want to do is do an intro email here. So you would want to put in, create intro email, use AI to assist. Okay, we're going to hit save and close. So that's where you put your intro email. How frequently? I'd say, hey, we want it to go out every 30 days. Do you want to be CC'd on that report? And then maximum number, I would just bump this up. I don't think you're ever going to have that many, but just in case, right? So we bumped it up that way. And then does this report ever expire? Just leave that blank and it'll go forever. So now what we want to do is we want to browse for a contact. So again, if we had people tagged with their neighborhood, this would make it super easy to hop in there and assign them by neighborhood because we could go search and you can search by tag. So if you had somebody in here, listed as Vacaville or Southtown or whatever that might be, then those would show up in there. Okay. Otherwise, we can search by first name, last name. Our city search didn't work so well last time. So we're going to go in here and go Tard, hit the browse button. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We wanted to hit the search button. And then I'm going to select myself. I always have myself in my database, so I can use myself as a dummy, right? So I can plug in, see what this is going to look like. So I've got my report named. I've got my report search set up. I've got my intro done. It's going to go out every 30 days, right? And then you can preview it. Again, this is where you may want to update those cover photos for these report photos because like that doesn't really say Amy on it by any means. Here's where that intro email is going to go. So here's where that intro detail is going to go is to fill in this space here. And you probably want, just so you know too, when you create this email, you probably want a call to action in there so that they are spurred to reach out to you for a more detailed report, right? It's got that map. It's got the for sale and sold data, average days on market for sold, months of supply, right? Newest listing, last sale. Here's your sale data sold, right? So it goes through a lot of the things that we saw in the other stuff, but it's neighborhood specific based on that box that we drew. So I think this is a fabulous report to be sending out to all of the people in our database on a monthly basis, okay? To keep them up to date of what's going on in the market, what's going on in their neighborhood specific. It makes you local. And we all know that people drive by properties and they're like, oh, that property's for sale. How much is it for sale for? Now they know to look for your report to find that information. Or it also is going to pull up any closed sales as well. So see, we've got green dots for active, red dots for sold, green for contingent, right? They know, oh, that's under contract now, right? And if they want more photos, they can click on that to get more photos of that property, right? They can scroll through those photos. They've got the map. They can pull up more details. Okay, there's all the details for that property, or we can go web. That's going to take them to your website. Okay, so that takes them straight into your website where they could then decide, hey, what's my home worth? Property search, right? So some cool things there. Now, the other cool thing is with that, let's go back to there. We're going to close out of that preview. I'm going to hit cancel there instead of save and send. If you were ready to do, you would just go, hey, save and send. And it's going to go ahead and send that out, and then it would send it every 30 days. Now here, it's going to list each report and who it goes to, whether you're going to get CC'd on that report. So if you decide you want to turn those off, you can come back here and look. If the contact has unsubscribed, it would show off here. And then it's going to show, hey, when was this created? January of 2025. And then when was the last email sent? It shows up here. It was sent at on the 20th of December. And then I'm going to click that little plus. Here is all of those property detail reports. And it would tell us when it was opened. So if I had opened any of these reports, that's where it would show up, is right there. Okay, so you can go in there and see what customers are doing in these reports, which makes it super handy. Now, in the future, we can also hit view properties if we want to see what that report looks like. We can click the edit button. Okay, there. Super cool. That allows you to edit it or change it. Okay, and again, if we had saved all of those blocks, then it makes it really easy to come in here. We could copy this report. So I could come in here and hit copy. So if I've got somebody in that same neighborhood, it saves that, copies over that search data for me, and I just rename it, add the contacts to it, put that intro email in there, and then set it up and hit save and send. So it makes it super simple if you've got people in the same area to go in there that you've added to your database to get them set up on the same report without having to do it from scratch with all those details in there. Also, if we had saved all of the little neighborhoods, then that also makes it easy because they're all in there. Okay. If we go, okay, that was client reports. That was our property detail report. So again, if you've got somebody's address, that's the one that I would use there. Let's see here. I was thinking under this, I think it might just be under property. I'm just playing around with this real quick. We're gonna go market areas. Oh yeah. All right. I was just seeing if it allowed a map search on that one. So there is our market reports. I would recommend using the general market reports for those customers that are maybe buyers, where you can keep them up to date of what's going on in the area that they're most interested in with the market. I would use the property detailed reports for those people who own homes, that you want to keep them up to date of what's going on in a specific neighborhood or specific area on a monthly basis. Remember, because as we have people in our database, we want to be interacting with them at least 36 times a year. This would be 12 of those interactions, one per month, going out with an email market report. So I would send this out, and then I would send out a newsletter as well. Now, here's the good thing too, just so you guys know, if we set people up on this for a market report, and then we use something different like Constant Contact or MailChimp for our newsletter, okay, it adds an extra step in there. But now if somebody unsubscribes from our newsletter, they haven't unsubscribed from our whole database, and vice versa, right? We still have another chance for interaction. So I kind of like using different things for searches, which is why too, like on a specific property search, if I've got a buyer looking for properties, I usually do those through the MLS. Number one, I feel like it's going to be more prompt because it doesn't take time to load from the MLS to our system. You can search lots of different areas through our MLS. And if they unsubscribe from our property reports, they haven't unsubscribed from our database. So just a couple of things there. But those are the two reports I would use for market updates that would go out on a monthly basis. Any questions, thoughts, or ahas on today's training before we wrap up? All right, I hope this is helpful. The replay for this one will be out after next week. Abby's off for another week, and she's the one that does all of my editing and posting of the training videos. So those will be up at the first part of next week. We do not have a January training schedule yet. I'm going to be working on that. Um, if you have suggestions for trainings that you'd like to see in 2026, shoot me over a text message. Let me know what you'd like to see. Oh, when will the forms be available? Are you talking about the forms training, Amanda, or are you talking about the forms, the new forms in your car forms library? The new forms training should be available. I think it should have been done on Friday, but you can check or last Friday. You can check my YouTube channel or the training spreadsheet for that if you want the new forms trainings. And then the new forms were supposed to have been released on the 16th of December. So they should be released in your car forms library. I have not verified that yet, but they were released on the 16th was the goal by car. And sometimes they make changes to them between when they do the red line version and the actual finalized version in your car forms library. So just a heads up on that as well. But they should be in your car forms library, and the new training should be on my Facebook page or my YouTube channel, I believe. So you'll find that there. Fabulous. Well, I hope you guys have a happy new year that's coming up here in a couple nights. We have New Year's Eve. Celebrate, have fun, and then we will get the new training schedule out for January, the first week of January. So there won't be anything that first week. And then we'll come back and start some sort of trainings. I haven't decided what we're doing yet, but we'll dive in to that. We may just go back to basics and talk about what you should be doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis with your business. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a fabulous day. Thank you, Deborah.